All right, we're back for the Dunhallow Mystery. Hello, everybody. We are back on episodes, I believe,
11 and 12?
15, 16.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
You're way behind, Adam. Jeez, where are you back?
Yeah, listen.
Where were you back in episodes 9 and 10?
I don't know. I was probably too drunk at that point in time in the game.
Yeah, I'll figure it out.
I'll figure it out. Somebody called out your character for making a very astute Lebowski reference, I believe.
I have an allowance, which is ample.
So, welcome back. I'm your game master, Daniel Fox. This is the gang, the cult, the players, the people, the playtesters, the people who helped bring Main Gauche to Kickstarter, and we just ended last night at $75,171. So that was pretty cool.
Yay!
Official victory lap episode.
Yeah. I took a victory lap around the front room. Actually, I didn't. I continued working. I worked on a nonstop last night trying to get back your kids to that. But no, thank you, everybody. To all of our listeners.
Yeah, thank you.
Yep,
to all of our supporters. To those who are following us on Facebook, on Twitter, who are listening to the podcast. Without you guys, we couldn't make Main Gauche a reality. It feels kind of deja vu. We had the same conversation 2 years ago. Not around the same table, different house.
Yeah.
But most of the same people were like, holy shit, people actually back Zweihänder. So
yeah. It's a real thing.
It's a real thing. So now Main Gauche has become a reality, which is pretty cool. Obviously, you can follow kind of what's going on there on the Kickstarter. For those of you who may have missed it, we're going to have some post-pledge stuff set up soon. Backer kit unfortunately requires a week or so to get things set up and approved, so we are a little bit behind the ball. But for those of you who missed the Kickstarter, we'll have post pledges set up here pretty quick, and we'll make an announcement both on Twitter, on Facebook, and on Google+, so you too can pick up your own copies of Main Gauche, Zweihänder, all the cool kick-ass leather-bound editions that we're really looking forward to getting.
All the cards.
All the cards, all the new stuff. Game Master's Notebook, we have the Purity Seal, Condition Seals, we have Demonic Magic cards, just a whole host of new stuff that's coming out.
Stat hat.
Yeah. But actually, it's funny. So this Kickstarter brings us up to 27 products.
Wow.
Not including, that's in 2 years. 27 products in 2 years, not including what's in the Grim and Perilous library right now.
Some good stuff in there.
Yeah. We've got Carrying Crows, really cool campaign setting. We got Cellsor #1, a fan magazine for Zweihänder. The Dust, yeah, it's a post-apocalyptic setting. Pretty cool. We got some Polish character sheets. We've got a Spanish version of the beta. We got a Spanish character sheet. We've got some new character sheets in landscape and portrait format. People are submitting a lot of stuff, so it's pretty cool. We get all of our artwork up there so you can download it. We got all the templates you need so you can make your own things. Check it out. But nonetheless, it's pretty monumental. We've got this much stuff, literally between like a small group of us, and we turn out 27 products, so it's kind of crazy. We've got an SRD coming out soon for Zweihänder. It's almost finished. We'll be ready here toward mid to late September, so you too can play Zweihänder without having a book. It'll all be online in Wikipedia format. You can create your own content, upload it to the SRD. Our goal is to digitize everything. So you'll probably see Main Gauche and many other products here soon come to SRD format. Nonetheless, thank you once again for your support. And we hope you continue listening and following. So with that being said, we are back for the Dunhallow Mystery. Walter is back tonight.
Hello.
Yeah, he has been back and forth on business and pleasure. But the exciting thing that we want to talk about actually is Walter is producing a show here in Kansas City, which I want to give you the mic for a moment to talk a little bit about.
Well, so I'm bringing a professional wrestling show to Kansas Hall in Overland Park for anybody local. On October 18th, that is a Thursday night, so one of our game sessions, all of these guys will be joining me down for that.
Yeah, we will.
Yay!
Yay!
Very kind of them to do so. But more importantly, for those people who aren't in Kansas City, we actually are really close to getting on a national streaming service for it. We actually have a contract that is pending. Basically, if I can get the the network at the venue to work a little better because the owner doesn't really know what he's doing. But hopefully he doesn't listen to his Zweihänder podcast.
Yeah, I doubt that. But you never know, right?
But yes, if that happens, then we will have a national audience that will be on a high-profile streaming service that will contract us and bring in high professional recording equipment, and all of you can watch it. That's something you think you might be into, and if you don't know, you should try it.
Yeah.
You might be surprised.
The other cool thing that Walter's working on, and we spoke about before, is a wrestling card game that's kind of been in development for about 2 or 3 years now, but it sounds like it may be coming closer to completion finally.
I'm going to use that as a, hopefully I can use this as a vehicle to launch both, but yeah, this is a big side passion of mine, so if anybody wants to check it out, definitely would appreciate it.
Let them know where they can buy tickets for the wrestling show.
That's an excellent idea, Kent. Thank you very much. If you are local and you want to go, you can go to www.anarchyinkansas.com. That's all written out. So INKNSAS, anarchyinkansas.com.
Check it out, guys. And don't be surprised if we end up with some sort of wrestling character as kind of a jokey profession in a new book.
That'd be fantastic.
I'm not saying it's going to happen, but it's going to happen.
I want to play it. High flyer.
Mm-hmm. So that brings us to tonight for episodes 15 and 16 of the Dunhallow Mystery. Madam Krista is back. All sixes for here. So let's get started. While Walter's been out for a couple sessions, Madam Krista, his character, has been actually in Dunhallow Village, spending some time with Dr. Greystone, trying to learn a little bit more about what's going on around here, trying to talk a little bit more about his studies, just in general. Well, what's going on behind the scenes. However, last session, what happened? I think we'll have Mike do the update this time.
What? I did the update last time.
Did you do last time?
Yeah.
Okay, I think it's Nick's turn then.
Okay. So last time I believe we ended. We had left the brother.
David.
On my notes.
David.
Brother David's apiary. After a long talk, and we were trying to decide what to do from there. We ended up kind of. We spoke with. Let's see here. The Knight, Jameson St. James, the local magistrate, Shire Reeve, and
Local dickhead.
yeah,
Loeg.
your words, not mine. But he was with Loeg, and they were shoring up with some logs the watchtower of the village, slowly.
That's right. It was
Falling down the hill, and they were trying to keep it from doing so in the foreseeable future. And we kind of had a little chit-chat with him about Mr. Let's see here, Brother Aaron.
Yes.
Who was also bit by the dog, who bit I'm having
The
a hard
Baroness?
time. The Baroness, yes. Did we ever say, what was her first name?
The Duchess Baroness.
The Duchess Baroness.
I could probably look up something.
Ethel.
Ethel. Okay. So Ethel Winterborne. Okay.
I don't think anybody would use the Baroness's first name. So.
Yeah, no one has. It's
We've never
just the
asked that.
Baroness.
It's kind of strange we never asked
She's
that,
Lady
but yeah.
Winterborne. What do you mean?
Yeah, Lady
Lady
Winterborne or
Winterborne.
Baroness Winterborne,
Yeah.
right? Yeah.
So we
So
kind
that's
of gathered that this man, Brother Aaron, had at one point murdered someone back in Old Lork and fled to Dunhallow Village in hopes of starting a new life for himself.
It actually ended up being an entire family.
Oh, and the entire family did.
No,
He
he
was
killed
an
an
arsonist.
entire family.
Oh, he was an arsonist who allegedly accidentally killed an entire family who was sleeping in their house when the fire went off.
Right.
And we also found out his name was Aaron Tarbuck. His last
Right.
name.
So Aaron, by the way, who is probably listening to Dunhallow Mystery, we did name a character after you. Not because I think you're evil, but you know. Anyhow,
Fires happen, you know.
fires happen. So go on, please.
We did not gather his location, but we decided that we would at that point in the evening, head back.
Mm-hmm.
Perhaps rather misguidedly, who knows?
Yeah, it was perfectly
Back to the
sound
manor
logic.
home. On the way, we noticed a light in the distance and decided to go investigate. What happened next? Kind of hard to describe in terms of who we saw, but it was a person, a figure armed with a bow.
They're about to shoot you guys.
Almost shot everyone.
But Tuck had him dead to rights.
Dead to rights.
Boom, boom. So once he heard that, he took off running. We gave chase, but he escaped into the night.
What did you discover at his campsite?
At his campsite, we discovered nearby a recently slaughtered animal, a pot of tea, and some bedding. And, of course, fire.
Is that all you found?
What else did we find?
A couple.
Oh, yes, a couple of fetishes or altar, like
Ironwood arrows.
ironwood arrows. Yes.
Which is the only thing we took.
Yes. So we left.
Because the Lord was like, these are actually mine.
Yeah.
It was a crude resemblance to the custodian, was it? Or the
Steward.
The steward.
Steward.
Okay.
And there was one other thing, though. We had the animal hide stretcher and hides on them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he had some racks for drying some hides.
And a hunting knife, but we left that too.
Yeah, we basically left him everything
Mm-hmm.
besides the 2 arrows that were of ironwood make.
We returned to the manor and received quite the cold welcome from literally no one. Couldn't find our way back in to the maze-like entrance, and ended up staying somewhere within the castle walls.
It was the hall. We got to the hall at least. We just didn't know where to go from there.
Right. Greeted in the morning by Hugo Downing and Maud Linkhouse, who thought our appearance there was rather odd, as we hadn't announced ourselves.
Well, they didn't know,
Little good it would have done, but
they didn't know that we were coming, or else they
Yeah.
would have left the lights on, essentially.
It looked like they had just shown up, perhaps after being up all night themselves.
yeah.
Hard to say.
Bloodshot eyes.
Mm.
No, they did because they said they were going to go sleep.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
After speaking with them a little bit, they did go retire for the day.
The day, because it's the day of rest.
Yes, the day of rest.
Give this to Madame Krista, if you would, please.
And during that time, Lord Winterborne and Ceol Marius II, careful of those chips there, decided to spend the day reading in the outdoors. Quite a boring affair, according to Tuck and I. And we decided to explore the castle rather fruitlessly, save for one small endeavor in which we oiled a rather rusty door in preparation for exploration, dungeoneering, and excitement, which will take place hopefully at the start of this session.
That's right. So, Madame Krista. God, I say it every time. Madame Krista, you arrive at Winterborne Manor panting and heaving. You traveled all night by yourself with this information that you would learn from Dr. Greystone, earning his trust.
My goodness.
At one point or another, Madame Krista kind of emerges into the main chambers of Winterborne Manor. It's dark. The braziers burn with flames and logs, but in the braziers. But it's still very long shadows in here. This place is large and empty and all-consuming. Light does not seem to really emanate anywhere within it. The shadows seem to almost swallow it. So large is this place, full of history and unknown places and secrets. And you'd been working your way at this door with this oil to break up the mineral rust or along the exterior frame of this heavy wooden, this bronze-bound door. Madame Krista emerges into your mists. Remember, at this point, Maud Linkhouse and Hugo Downing have left for the evening to attend to some business.
Which we thought was odd because it's actually
It's nightfall.
nightfall. Yeah.
Yes.
Right.
So, as I was saying, he just wouldn't let it go. His hand was stuck in the cookie jar. I just told him to let it go, but he couldn't let it go. He wanted the cookie, and he couldn't get it unless he had it in his hand.
Like a greedy, rascally raccoon.
Yeah.
Well, if I let go of it, I dropped it, and then I'd have to go back in there and grab it again.
Is anyone here? Hello?
What?
Hello? Where is everyone?
She has a torch burning in hand that she tosses into the brazier nearby. She's covered in a sheen of sweat.
What is wrong?
Master Downing?
No, he's not currently in. Him nor Maud. They have gone out for the evening. It's just us.
They've gone out for the evening?
I mean, sure. They had some business to attend to. I didn't really ask questions.
I don't suppose that you ran into them on the way in.
Those woods are deep, and the odds of running into another passerby are... Well, that is curious. They
It's
didn't
just
seem
the
to
one
take the
path.
road.
Yes.
Well, I don't know whether to make of that as a surprise or not, considering this place is queer.
Quite.
Very.
All of it. What sort of business happens at nightfall? In the middle of the wood. Plenty of business happens back home at night, but none of it legal and seldom of it safe.
Stuff they don't want us knowing.
Mushrooms, remember the things they mandrake, right?
There are no root pickers.
The herbalist.
We're just mentioning things that happen at night, okay?
My father always said there was only mischief to be had at night. No offense, Doc.
What?
No, nothing.
I like the daytime. I think the daytime's lovely.
Well,
Right.
mischief does not imply whether the woman is married or not.
Did you find out anything from our good friend the doctor?
More than I would care to, but
Doctor.
this seems an unusual place to discuss it in our host's main hall, though they seem to have left you the run of it.
Would you like to go somewhere more private? I just opened it up.
What are you doing?
There's an old, heavy door that is sunken into a part of the chamber that would be indiscernible would you not have light near it, so large is this hall. You can see this inset threshold that is rounded, vaulted on the top, with these twin set of doors, very narrow, very tall, almost looking like the tops of like a gate of a cemetery. There's a big, heavy wooden door bound with bronze, and you can see bits and flecks of rust on the ground. The door just barely open.
Tuck looks at you and looks like he's about to say something, and then thinks better of it. Thinks about it a little more, and then he says, "Me, Joe."
We have rooms. We have that room.
I mean, we have I think I remember where we went back to our quarters.
You could find your quarters easily.
Okay.
And we've all, two of you have mapped that out at this point. So.
Yeah, I have.
So, yeah.
So,
Yeah.
Where do you intend that this threshold goes?
that's what we were about to find out until you appeared.
It does not look like it has gone anywhere in a very long time. I'll say, kind of kicking at the rust on the ground.
Surely if we go in there, nobody's going to be in there.
Who is looking after your aunt?
I asked the same question.
Apparently she is bedridden, so she's in bed, right?
But what is the purpose if it isn't to take care of your aunt?
Well, imagine this.
Is that the question that you should be asking them?
At least, you'd
I mean,
think
you know,
at least one of them would stay overnight.
If she's as infirmed as they say, and we've seen, then
We've
they should
talked
24-hour care, right?
Well,
So
Right.
Unless what they intended to do required them both.
Yeah.
oh. What? Oh.
I dare not think too hard about that, particularly in light of the journey and the evening I've had.
If they needed privacy, this castle provides ample. I don't think they would need to leave.
Well, if you didn't see them on the route back to Dunhallow, they may have just gone to the Sanctuary.
Oh, it's
Or
true.
the Dun...
They said their business was in the Greylands.
So perhaps they were going to procure meats from that hunter we found. Who knows?
I don't. Again.
But we waste time, so speculating. So would we go through this door, or shall we hear your story here, Madam Krista?
Or should we go back to our private room so she can feel comfortable?
I'd rather do 2 birds with 1 stone and go through this door and have her tell us her story.
I dare say that this town and this place has become like a pit of quicksand, and a rain has hit it. I fear it will drag us down and suffocate us sooner rather than later. If you intend to find out the truth, there's more truth behind this door than there will be back in that bedchamber.
Well then, let's go through the door.
No. Let her finish.
I shall tell you on the other side of this door, I do not trust that the eyes that we have seen in this place are the only eyes.
Very well.
If you know what I mean.
Well, all right.
I don't, but I'll take your word for it.
So here's what we do, and I know you're in charge, so you can say if you don't like this, but if this place truly is dangerous, like where you're stepping, you can fall through, then I'll go first. Got a rope around my waist. He's got the rope around his waist.
You have rope?
Yeah.
Yeah,
How much?
6 yards.
Well, that was 10.
6 yards.
Okay.
Got a first down's worth of rope.
You realize that rope is 1 encumbrance per yard.
Yeah.
So heavy as rope.
It is,
That's what rope is.
but it's not necessarily the weight. But anyhow, it's you know, being able to do cartwheels with it around you. Yeah, I've got that. If and I fall, well, bad things could happen, but we at least lessen the possibility.
He fastens the rope around his waist.
I do the same.
Okay.
So
You're the anchor.
I think I'm gonna hang back, fellas. Make sure nobody bars this door from the other side or any shenanigans like that. Be
Is
quite
there a
honest.
bar on this side? Oh, look. No? Well, they can't lock us in. Is there a lock on this?
There was a keyhole, but
We don't have it.
Somebody with a board and a hammer and a couple of nails sure as shit could, my lord.
Does it open inward or outward?
the door opens inward.
Okay, so even if they put a board there, we'd still be able to open the door, right?
Sure.
Okay. I'm not too worried about it, Gunter. Thanks for the idea.
All right.
Good looking out.
I will. Yes, I would not trust you to stay alone in this place. You should come along.
All right, let's do it then.
I'll tread forward carefully.
Okay. You all enter into the part of the castle may be potentially dangerous and life-threatening, not only to yourselves, but to your friends, as you all gain 2 corruption.
Can I pick up that torch that she just tossed into the stones?
Sure.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
absolutely.
was going to talk about that.
Yeah.
I'll leave
The
the
torch has about an hour left on it. Assume it has an hour.
Okay.
Yeah.
Then I'll have my lamp behind.
You open the door, and there is this
Torch.
yawning portal that seems to lead deep below the castle. A long set of stairs, narrow. I'm sorry, my apologies. They're not narrow. Only thing is a set of double doors. They're kind of peaked at the top, and they open split right down the middle. You open the doors, they're about as broad as this table, so about 4 foot wide.
Okay.
Go down them carefully.
You begin to proceed down into the darkness.
So
You can hear.
I can understand the order.
We don't need a marching order.
No,
This-
you're going to go first. You're going to go, and then the rest of us are going
Yeah.
to come after. Okay.
Right.
All right.
The canary, so to speak.
That's right. So you begin to descend downward into the darkness, and much like above, so below, the darkness seems to eat and chew at the light as the torch kind of flickers kind of nervously as you begin to descend downward. You can see the portal that you'd stepped through, the threshold, grow smaller and dimmer until it's lost in the shadow, and you can only hear your footfalls upon the smooth flagstone stairs. They're pretty broad and wide, but long. Like they're very long, unusually long stairs, in fact. There would be no risk of slipping off of them unless you just really weren't paying attention. These stairs are about 2.5 foot long. Anybody here have a skill rank in tradecraft?
No. I do not.
Okay. You all may... No, you don't. No, you can't. You have a skill rank, so never mind. You descend downward.
I totally have a skill rank in tradecraft.
Oh, nice. Okay.
Oh, do ya?
Go ahead and roll an easy tradecraft test.
All right.
Madam Krista.
All right. I have a 72% chance, and I rolled a 16, so I
Nice.
succeeded.
Madam Krista, as you descend downward, this place seems to remind you almost of a mausoleum of sort, a low descending tomb. The stairs are just wide enough and just long enough to accommodate pallbearers. And as you move further down, you begin to recognize that the ceiling is vaulted just so, and you can see that there's kind of religious iconography kind of resting with these, nestled in these little kind of alcoves as you descend down. And you can see hundreds and hundreds of candles at once burn in these little alcoves, but they're just kind of dripping with oil and frozen in time. The walls are incredibly wet. You can hear this kind of constant sense of this constant dripping. And you can see water seeping between the mortar, like seeping between where the flagstone meets in places.
Are any of these candles salvageable so we can read?
No,
Okay.
they've been burning for a millennia, and they're covered in dust and cobwebs.
Okay.
This chamber hasn't been open in quite some time.
I'll point out what I learned from my observation.
Mausoleum, you say.
This place was for the dead. Let's hope that it isn't again.
Well, keep your eye for any names as I will pull the book out and here. Hold it. Oh no, I'll give it to Gaunter. The lamp, and I'll like thumb through some things and see if I
Sure.
do I see any names?
Well, you're just descending at the stairs
Okay.
still. They seem to descend forever. They seem to slowly wind around too, until they seem to open up into this large chamber below. Massive chamber. And you realize there's no wall beside you, save for the one near the stairs. You're kind of walking and would perhaps threaten to spill off the edge were you not to watch your footing. And given how wet these stairs are, you must all succeed trivial coordination tests. They're a little slick. Just a little slick.
A 73% chance.
9.
I rolled a 72. I succeeded by 1 point.
Nice.
At a
Yeah, I
78,
kicked-
15.
I'm gonna re-roll.
I kicked some rocks off the edge and got really close to us. Slipping some rocks.
How'd you do,
I didn't
Gaunter?
mean to. I assume a rock like broke under
Oh,
my
one
foot.
crit 6.
Oh, nice! Well, at one point or another, Madame Krista is walking and almost missteps until you grab her by the back of her shawl and save her from slipping down into darkness. You walk very carefully along this kind of stairwell with nothing open beside you save for this yawning chamber. As you come deeper within, the torch is kind of bobbing in hand, the lantern is kind of flashing all over, and you can see what appears to be this large circular chamber. Now, this chamber is unusual in that, unlike what you've seen in the castle so far, it looks to be of a very different make. The flagstone is irregular. It appears to have been here for quite some time. There's small pools of water along the flagstone floor here and there. And there are these tall alcoves that run from floor to about 9 feet high, about 3 yards high, where you can see these plinths of stone holding up these perches. And resting within them are these old stone sepulchres. Some there are sepulchres, others there are simply tunnels that lead deeper within. This appears to be some sort of ancient mausoleum or burial ground. One thing that you did notice when you were descending down, however, is kind of arrested in the center of the stone floor, carved within it, within the furrows of it where water rested inside of it, you could see the symbol of Priam.
We've got a
Priam
lot.
or Agravar?
Priam.
Okay.
We've got a lot.
Or my apologies,
Agravar.
Agravar. My apologies,
Okay.
Agravar. Sorry about that. Yes, the
Came in
Agravar.
here and scratched him out.
He's all like,
Bruh.
Just kidding.
Dude, bug.
We've got a lot of places we could go. Anyway, you want me to lead you?
I don't know. I almost want to look around here a little bit more, but I'm perplexed by this seal of the Agravara.
Well, we could do that. I just need you to point me which direction to walk.
We
with
seem
the
to do well
banners?
with the left-handed path, so we'll start with the leftist one.
Well, hold it a moment. Check your oil. How much time we have left down here?
Oh.
I wouldn't want to be caught in the dark.
I put a fresh pot in. I have 6 hours.
Okay. Keep an eye on it.
That's why I clink, 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 clink. Have all these extra.
That's right.
Let me speak my piece.
Please.
Let me tell you what I have learned. The Master Hugo Downing is a liar. I'm certain that all of you are surprised to learn this.
Disappointed mostly. It would have been very nice to have someone on our side. Someone who knew about my family.
Maud is not his assistant or his accompaniment. That is very much his adopted daughter. Their relationship is very strange indeed.
like, as in, not daughter and father. Strange.
I would not be all that surprised if that had been the case at this point. But a strange, chilling undercurrent to the relationship, certainly.
So, Maud Linkhouse is just an adopted daughter, not even a bastard daughter?
Adopted is what I heard.
It's very odd.
I feel comfortable in the efficacy of this gossip. I feel certain it's true. The secret to what they want in this place is almost certainly down here.
In this area?
So we just opened it up for them.
They say you get buried with your secrets. Looks like this is more literal than most, wouldn't you say?
Would.
I do not believe that their failure to open the door had anything to do with their inability to do so. If there's anything they have, it is time and idle hands with which to work them. Especially since they seem to be shirking their duties as caretakers quite dramatically, wouldn't you say?
I would.
That would also explain though why, they's giving everybody the boot. Get out so that we can do as we please.
Maybe there's logic to that. They must have. There must be other paths to what they have. We've only been able to see 3 small areas of this massive place, so there's no telling if there's multiple passages to this.
Well, you never know. This could lead to that courtyard you're so interested in.
Just want to see the rest of the castle.
And
I really want to get to this west wing that he's so inclined for us not to see.
Well, it's just kidding.
Well, I mean, no talk. I mean, I didn't mean to scold you. I mean, I'm just.
Perhaps a bit less talking, a bit more exploring. Then, if there is nothing else of note in here, then we should take the left-handed path.
Right, as you said. Okay, left it is.
You will leave the mausoleum behind then. And
Yeah, I mean, if I'm walking around looking and I don't notice anything.
Oh, I didn't realize that you're walking around and looking. You stated that you were doing that in the hallway, but I didn't realize that you were doing that here.
I assume I'm not just standing there going, "Hey,
Look
let's
for
not
the
look at
skeleton.
You must tell me what you were doing.
Well, I would take then, or at least have Gaunter like, "Hey, trying this around," and that way I can have the book ready if need be.
Who here has a skill rank in education?
Not me.
Okay. Both of you need to
Shockingly.
make challenging education tests.
All right.
Book reading types.
Some of these inscriptions of the mausoleums are in a strange tongue that you must discern.
You want to go first?
Go ahead.
All right. I have a 45% chance, and I rolled a 38. I succeeded.
What about yourself, Cole?
I have a 43% chance. Oh, wait, no. I have a 53% chance.
The more successes, the more you will learn.
And I critically failed.
Oh, no.
I have not rolled a success.
Well, without
in
a doubt,
3
Cole,
game sessions.
this is indeed ancient Ald, the language of the Aradain from during the Second Age. In fact, you may write this language down now on your languages list, Madam Krista, ancient Ald. Imagine trying to discern Latin. Some of these inscriptions are very, very, very old, but there's a point where it changes into the modern tongue and the way that the modern letters of the language of Ald is inscribed upon these sepulchres. And you begin to realize that this is a family mausoleum. But perhaps what is most chilling about this is you've identified 9 sepulchres that are covered in stone and one that is not. Every single one of them is inscribed with the name Lysandra Agravar.
Who is Lysandra Agravar?
Can I start thumbing through
I will
my
say
book?
aloud.
The Sandra Agapar, that's the... It's not the bitch queen, is it?
It is.
It is, right?
I would believe you're correct. From our talks from before, I believe that what's her name?
That is her name.
Is that something that would
But
be
every
common
one of these?
Not really. Unless you're a skill rank in education.
Nope.
I'll point out to Cole every place in which her name appears. You can see the pattern of the trilling S here, but it appears again here, and also here.
They get progressively. The inscriptions get progressively older and older, but the 10th chamber, the 10th sepulchre that has not yet been covered, has up on a placard Lysandra Priam. The sepulchre is empty.
That's in common. That we
Yes.
all read.
The common tongue. Yes. Lysandra Agavar. Sorry. God, I fucking do that. Lysandra Agavar.
Does anyone remember what became of her? She was
What is your
killed.
aunt's name?
Oh, God. I just forgot it.
Ethel Winterborne.
Ethel. Yes, Ethel.
What is her real name then?
I mean, she's always been a Winterborne. She's a true Winterborne. We didn't marry in. Ethel would be her name.
What's... But don't you have ties? That's what...
Nothing in the book seems to indicate such.
But the brother said that.
Brother David. I believe he did say we had some ties to the Agravara. Did not think it was by blood. I thought it was by oath. Unless I am mistaken. Does anyone else remember the conversation more vividly?
Blood.
Blood.
He said tainted blood.
Well, I thought that was from all the people we killed, apparently. The name of
Stains
the
that
Agravara.
run through your soul and don't leave the family line.
Well, what I got from that is if he was saying it, he wasn't saying it directly. But I couldn't tell either way if he was saying that or not.
Huh. Because these entries. I have not yet read anything about the Agrivara. Or Agrivara.
Well, I mean,
Perhaps it is in a part that I have not yet seen, as I give it a quick skim through, but I assume I see nothing.
So,
why would the same name appear on a sepulture like
10
10
times.
times?
It doesn't make any sense.
Okay, so
First of her name,
wait.
second of her name.
Wait. So, I've got an idea. But you know, this bitch queen you call her.
I mean, I didn't call her that. That's what history calls her.
Well, sort of. I don't know my history. But
She's also called Lysandra Agrivar the Unrighteous.
Bathed in blood and dashed baby's head. I mean, the writings about her are
so
are
that's
vicious.
It is said that she was the last of the Agrivaras, last of the line, and that she crucified her enemies before the castle walls of Belagain. She was called Lysandra Priam the Unjust after the death of her husband, Leodum was his name. When Leodum died, she ruled all of Aglador for a number of years until until the throne was overthrown by a young, dark-haired, blue-eyed hero named Haleth Rowan, who began what was now known as the Third Age. He was basically the first of the Rowan dynasty, and for 13 generations, the Rowans ruled Aglador. But before them, the end of the Second Age was marked with her death.
Oh, kind of regurgitate that out real quick. And
I don't understand. That doesn't make any sense. Why would...
First of her name, second of her name? That doesn't make any sense. There wouldn't be 10 of them.
Here's what I'm thinking. So, you know, it's like old Robert's son. He had in himself quite a name. He was on the seas, and he was on the seas for what, 80 years? You think that's one man?
The Dread Pirate Robert?
Robertson, yeah.
What?
So, you know, I mean, perhaps the bitch queen was several ladies. How long did she reign?
Not long, if I remember. Her husband passed away, and she ruled the kingdom for a decade-ish.
And there weren't any other ones named the same as her beforehand?
I mean, we are talking about what we would consider ancient history. I mean, the writing is in, as Madame Krista said, is ancient old. I can't read it.
The placards are not marked with any years, but clearly some are in ancient old and others are not. Some placards look older than the others, where they're covered with grime. There is no growth to be had, but whatever was interred in those sepulchres would certainly tell a very different story.
I mean, maybe it's as simple as you're saying. Could be as simple as you're saying, my lord. It's the first of their name, the second of their name. It could be just as weird and strange and bizarre as this God's forsaken place that you've drug our asses to.
But what of this final sepulture? Empty one, empty. Nothing in it.
What do you name and no body?
What do you make of the? What do you see in the make of it?
It's in common too.
The indication would be that there is a
living Agrivar?
A woman by the name of Lysandra Agrivar, and she is not yet passed.
Or it's just not yet buried here. Do we know what happened to her body? I mean, the Second Age was marked by her death. Did they draw and quarter her and drag her to the four corners of Aglador, or
did they speak in
bury her, burn her?
Did they speak in the modern day tongue then, or when did our tongue come about?
That's
Third Age. Was when they stopped completely using Old, but I mean, Second Age was the Rowan dynasty. That's when the common language became the common language, I believe.
So
they call it the King's tongue. He spoke a form of all that was more. It is called common colloquially, but it is the language spoken by the peasantry, and the ancient Ald, or Old Ald, if you will, was spoken by the clergy, and those of royal bloodlines. The Romans were not of royal bloodline, but they became not only the first kings born of lower stock, but also the ones who ushered in a rapid change in Aglador, including adoption of the King's tongue, which is Ald, as you know it now.
So yes, the second age.
So, if I follow this correctly, the Bitch Queen died an age ago.
2 ages ago.
Some time after, a sepulcher was built with her name on it. And her house, since, I mean, even beforehand, much earlier, was dissolved, deposed, gone, poof, poof. So someone must not think of who came after. Priams?
Who came after the
The
Agravar?
Agravar?
Yeah.
The Agrivars were a dead line until
Yes.
until the bastard king adopted the name. He adopted the name Priam because he believed himself a descendant at the Agrivars, but he changed his name.
But if his line did mingle with the Agrivars, he is the last Agravar.
I don't think that. Or I think
But they wouldn't use this old name, would they? Agravar.
That's why you would switch it to Winterborne, as the bastard king switched his to Priam. What? It happens. And when you're talking a thousand years,
It's been 300 or so years since
227 years,
227
roughly, since the death of Lysandra Agrivara.
I'm sorry,
So
hundreds of years, the text can be. Families can rewrite their histories.
Perhaps not so much dispersed, but buried.
Oh,
Perhaps
bury their
a
history.
new house built upon top of it. A sprawling, wide place, hard to reach. Remote.
if I examine this book, is it all in Ald or is any of it in Ancient Ald?
It's all in Ald.
Okay.
It seems to begin sometime toward the early Third Age,
Early Third Age.
All in all,
with the birth of your father. Or your great-great-great-grandfather.
The
The
one
first,
who took
the
over
first
the-
Wesley Winterborne.
Okay, the first brother.
I'm saying that perhaps this
It does
is
not
it.
indicate his parents,
Yeah.
however.
Does not?
Nope.
Okay, darn.
I used to think this was a keep upon a mountain, and now I'm not so certain that the mountain itself is not the keep.
Well, if my namesake truly was the first of our line and was named so, it's hard to say what his name was before then.
I'm making speculations here, my lord. I mean, we're not.
Speculation, sure.
I mean, the writing is on the wall.
I mean, I know everyone wants to be,
That's funny.
a king or a descendant of a royalty, but
You do not want to be an Agrivarian.
I don't want to be. That'd be that would probably be very faux pas at this point.
As
A grave concern.
Yes,
blood.
Pun intended.
but perhaps there are yet more mysteries to uncover further in. If I look around, do I find it?
None of these alcoves seem to indicate anyone else who's been buried here, save for Lysandra Agrivara 9 times. 9 covered sepulchres within these 9 alcoves. The 10th alcove is the only one that is the slab has not been placed over the top of it. It is marked with Lysandra Agrivara above on the placard.
If I look, do I notice any things of like the steward, the martyr, learner, any of that?
No.
Nothing down here?
No,
That would
not
indicate-
at all. Nothing that would indicate anything would be even remotely religious.
Huh.
What were the pennants that were hanging on the moat above the drawbridge?
The same. Yeah.
Giant pennants.
I believe
Wall
that there may be some old time religion.
Well,
So, if I'm understanding this right, well, I guess we won't know, but do we know whether there's a person in each of these sepulchres? I know it's a very macabre thing to ask, but we don't know.
I would leave them on.
I don't want to disturb the dead, but it just seems like there shouldn't be.
Well, I mean, what else would you do besides bury a person in one of these things? Keep untold hidden treasures, perhaps, but
Well,
that's not what I'm here for.
either that or, it's a matter of protecting your body afterwards. And maybe if they was afraid that somebody was going to come and start looting and pillaging, then at least this would be some sort of deterrent.
I mean, the whole castle is determined to anyone coming here, but I think we should press on. We can speculate all day and night. Well, night, but let us not lose the time that we have while the cat is away, as they say.
We don't know how long they're going to be away.
Well, it's hard to say. What time do they get back in the morning? I would assume the same time.
If he's wanting to do that, if he's wanting to do that, we'd probably have to hire a grave digger or a mason or something like that. And even then, I don't want to be here.
No,
Certainly not, but
Well, you
we will lay that conversation to rest. We're not opening those tombs.
we can certainly look into the history. It's a clue, I'm sure, to see how many people of this name.
Gaunter was about to speak.
I mean, I'm curious as a cat too. I mean, grave's supposed to be a single thing, only one in existence for each of those who have existed. I mean, I don't care who you are, where you're from, or where you're at. You show up somewhere knowing that only one of one thing can exist, and you see 9 of the goddamn things right next to each other. I mean, I think we need to know what's inside these, at least one of them. I don't want to crack them open any more than the next one of you sumbitches, but something's not right here.
I am not the first of my name. I am sure she's probably not the first nor last of hers.
Hence,
But
it could be
9 of
more
them?
of a title. We don't know because that was stamped out.
hence why we should research.
Right. We will look into it, but
Where
we
will
shall
you
move
research it? There is no library in Dunhallow Village.
There's a library here.
I agree with you, Gaunter.
9 women of the same name. I mean, hell, even if they only live to be 50 years old, you're talking 500 years.
And how long was the second age?
942.
But why no husbands? Why no sons?
Perhaps
Why
they are
just
buried
these 9?
further below. We have not yet barely scratched the surface of this.
All right.
So let's continue.
Yeah.
All right?
Yes, my lord.
Onward. The left-handed path.
There is but one tunnel that leads out of here.
We'll call it the left-handed path.
Still
And you realize that
Right, too.
the tunnel seems to break off in places until you realize that the earth has shifted. And you see this still pool of water rippling as you move along. And you can see it kind of span before you as this tunnel is literally dropped, broken. The earth is sundered. The tunnel is dropped down and is just filled with water. There is no other place to go.
Well, there was another part. It was just like this. I'm thinking, it was raining a lot before. That's what old Ivory Jaw said.
Mm-hmm. Downing.
Yeah.
Master Downing.
Yeah, and maybe waits for a bit of a drier spell.
We could. I'm not much of a swimmer. I would not dare to try to go through it myself.
Perhaps these walls weep water, though. If we waited till the winter, would it be a sheet of ice?
It would be, then I believe, harder to trespass, right? If we have to swim.
What season is it? It's autumn, right?
It's autumn.
And here in Aguilador, it rains a lot during autumn. Is that correct?
Oh yeah.
And what is typically the driest season?
Summer.
I mean, we may have to wait until summer, but I mean, we're planning on being here for a long time, right?
I would imagine so, but whether it be thick or thin ice, I am not one to tread on it.
Well, just don't put any ladders over it, we'll be fine.
This might.
Well spoken.
As I think back upon my dooming, which is to do not tread on thick or thin ice.
The sepulchres have certainly piqued Gaunter and Madame Krista's curiosity. You scratch that itch.
Not without the say-so of my betters.
If the only other
Even
two
if she is the Mitch Queen.
If the other two passages, this and the other one to the library, are both underneath water, it seems either we must go underneath or wait almost a full year for things to dry up.
Well, I'm not saying we have to wait a year. I'm saying we could have to wait a year.
Right. But it's hard to say. We do not know this very well enough.
I think it's time to get the keys. He's offered them.
And what keys what good would the keys do? Have we found a door that is yet locked?
Every door is locked.
Well, to be true, we haven't really looked around much in the bedroom chambers. That's that portion of the. I mean, there could be a door to the courtyard there. Right?
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, again,
Exploration is not my forte, but I mean, I am all for the simplest path. The ones that lay before us are to continue underwater, to go to the library underwater, or to potentially...
we've never seen that the library is underwater. We've
Oh,
never seen anything.
Well,
I'll take my hand and I'll put it in the water to gauge the temperature of it.
It's cool water.
This is cool water. You're going to be in it for very long, underground. When you come back up, what you going to do? It's not like we're just going to build a fire and warm up.
we don't even know if there's a path through. That's why I'm saying this is not my area of expertise.
Well, I'm not exactly a spelunker, but I'm saying we don't do this.
Okay, well then we don't. We can go to the quarters and take a look at my aunt and check in on her.
Gaunter?
I'm just here to hold lanterns.
We're not doing anything with this then. This does not seem remarkable to you.
Well,
It's incredibly remarkable, but I don't want to be known as the man who disturbed graves.
Is that what you're saying we should do?
I'm done. Let's hit the stairs.
Apparently my family is already cursed enough. What good can come from opening the grave?
You already have tainted blood, according to the brother, so...
I
How
have
much
not...
worse can it get?
Stains on the soul. Your great-great-grandsire did something with the bitch queen.
Alright, well,
He wouldn't get into it.
we're doing a lot of hemming and on, and it's good to talk our options out, but other than turning back,
That's all we are.
is
Unless we
there
have any
anything
volunteers
else?
for a swim. I will not force you to go potentially to your death,
No.
No, because it's dark down here, and
even with a rope tied to you.
yeah, we don't even know if the land under the water holds out. It could drop off, and you'd be in darkness. I could drop the torch. No, it's not a good idea to even wait in it.
Then let us return back upstairs.
So, yeah, unless we's doing something else down here, we could wait. I mean, there's nothing that's dire as far as time goes, is there?
Not that I am aware of.
And we have explored everything that's beyond in these tunnels. Was there any other paths?
There were no other paths save for that one. Maud and Master Hugo left about 2 hours ago at this point.
I must admit that I feel like I said, I feel like a noose is tightening around our necks, even if it's not touching our skin yet. I think that this place or the people in it mean us ill. And maybe I can't logically exactly explain why, but I do not believe that our time is unlimited as perhaps it seems.
Huh.
We can't wait another season. We can't wait for the dry time.
And I mean, is it other than that feeling, which, if it was from anybody else, I'd be suspect. But you know, Krista, she's always right in these things. So
We have no access to the library. We can see that. It's under the pathways underwater. There's no way to research said things, correct?
Well,
And
Unless we can
that's
get to the
being
library.
allowed.
that's being allowed.
Unless that there's some other way there that we do not yet know.
Specifically, Master Hugh had said it's underwater.
Mm-hmm.
Right, the
The door is
pathway fell
locked.
down. And
Unless he's lying, which is a possibility. But hear me out. This woman 9 times died. We can presume. I mean, if you had asked me, the first one would have bones. The other ones, who knows? But the latest one, if I had to bet, I'd say it doesn't. What do you think of that?
What?
What? I'm agreeing with
There's 9 coffins.
Why do you
One.
care if there's bones?
What if there's something else in there? Something that's meant to be hidden.
Madam Krista, do you have a skill rank in heal?
She should know.
I don't think so.
Well, of course she does.
I have 3. In my
Yeah.
first
To be fair, Madam Krista is a quote practitioner of medical practices. Go ahead and Madam Krista, go ahead and make a folklore test. This test will be standard for you.
All right. The standard folklore test for me is 55%. Critical success.
Not only does Sir Harrison's theory sound true, in fact, it seems to very much match up what you read in medical practices and texts some time ago. He's right. If in fact that the Lysandra Priya may have died recently, there would certainly be more skin on the bones than the older ones would have more bones from desiccation. Crit success.
I know this is a macabre bit of business. I want you to ask me to trust me as your confidant. I wouldn't ask you to do this, but just in the name of medicine, let me make sure that she is laid to rest properly.
Madame Krista places her hand upon Gaunter's shoulder.
I know Gaunter's all in.
Which, above board, it's really hard for my character who has a reverent upbringing, who's dignified as his order lineman, to be like, yeah, let's go ahead and pillage these graves.
I'm trying to sell it as
Well, let's remember above board that Mike is not the only decision maker on the table, and that all of us should be active participants, and we should all be engaged. So, I understand that and I respect that, but on the same token, let's move the story forward. If you're going to sit here and hem and haw, stay here and hem and haw. If you're going to go back upstairs and continue to explore, go upstairs and continue exploring. But we need to progress.
Can we have an above board vote?
No.
No.
Okay.
No, what I'll do is
No, but Mike's point is well taken. So,
since Madame Krista is kind of pulling on that trust that she has with Wesley, he will concede but not stay here. He will take the torch, leave you the lantern, and head back upstairs.
Yeah, I
That
understand.
seems fair.
Because there's no dignity in this, and he will ask that you be respectful as much as possible.
I love the way you work it. No dignity.
who will stay behind to help Krista and Gaunter?
I kind of have to.
Do you
Gaunter, you want to...
I'll go with Lloyd. If nobody else is going to go with him, I'll go with him.
Do you need me or no?
I wasn't saying that I wanted to crack the things open. I was just saying I'm curious. That's all.
Well,
And if you need a hand, then
I
that's what
do
I'm here
need a
for.
hand, and I fear what we're going to find behind here. I'm terrified, and I don't want to do this alone.
Well, that doesn't make me want to stay behind and help anymore. I mean, shit.
My
Big,
duty,
strong man like you.
my duty is to Lord Wesley, and I fear that if there is something here that is to be learned that could save his life, we must know it.
Well, good. You can crack them open, and I'll stand back there with the lantern.
Well, it'll take more than one set of hands to move that stone lid. tell you that.
Would I be of any use here?
I have yet to see a situation in which you are not. I put my hand on his shoulder. I would always welcome your company.
Oh, fuck.
You know, of the people who, though that being said, you are the closest friend of Lord Wesley, and if we could use anything right now, he could definitely use a friend.
So what would a friend do right now?
Comfort him.
Good luck.
And with that, Tuck scampers up the stairs after Lord Wesley. Gaunter is backed away toward the step and is holding the lantern.
Superstitious, my friend. I'll say to Gaunter.
No reason to give the man a hard time. This is tough work for anyone.
Only in jest.
Just providing the light, that's all.
Doesn't set right with me doing it either, but that's my duty.
Only in jest. I do not think that allowing the trembling voices to be the only thing we hear in here to be the best course of action either.
I see your point.
Let us do it as a bandage, and I'll immediately reach for the for it.
All right. There's this heavy sliding and groaning that the two of you can hear as they're shoving the slab off on the solid. Thud! It hits the ground, and the nasty smell of moldering, this kind of sweet smell wafts from the inside of the sepulcher. And inside is this old desiccated corpse, dressed in some sort of funerary dress, you would guess. The smell is wretched, the fingernails are long, the teeth are pronounced, the hair is thin and white and yellow, the skin gray and motley and pulled tight against the skull. You both gain 1 corruption, and you both must also make a resolve test. This test is going to be challenging for all 3 of you. The smell is powerful.
50. Critical success.
I'll have to ask her where she shops. I will again use my gallows humor trait and use guile in place of my resolve.
Okay. All right.
That's been a useful skill in a place where you look at bodies a lot. Dare I say.
Oh. You see Gaunter buckle slightly, but Sir Harrison places his hand upon your shoulder and takes the lantern. You manage to soothe yourself, Gaunter, as you suffer nothing happens.
02, so I succeeded by a pretty good deal.
The smell is overpowering. Without a doubt, whoever is in there has been buried some time ago. But the thing that you find most strange about this, Gaunter, you would assume that those born of higher stock, or you know that those are born of higher stock, are always buried with their riches. There are no riches to be found in this sepulcher at all. You can't help but kind of peek over the edge, even where you're at, as you're standing up on the foot of the stair, ready to turn back and go up. But you can't help but peek, and that's the first thing that you notice. Is there is no jewelry nor rings, nothing indicating that this person was of any royal stock.
Is it just me, or does the confines of that coffin there seem a little sparse for someone of wealth? I mean, they usually put these old gals up with bangles and brooches and negligees and them crown things and all that other stuff. I mean, kings too, you know. The king's buried with his crown and his scepter, unless it's one of them kingdoms that passes it on down to the next fool that's unlucky enough to be the one to wear it.
Yes.
Not a single piece of jewelry, not a single brooch, not a single necklace, nothing on the body?
Nothing.
That is quite unusual.
save for this corpse of a very, very old woman.
Is the funerary gown of quality make? Does it look like something that's a
Not particularly.
sort of a common garment?
Mm-hmm. A burial shroud at best.
That seems unusual too, doesn't it? They would have been buried in something pretty fine.
Very.
Look at this. Just simple cotton. So simple, no spider silk, nothing. This is what my mother would have been buried in.
Well, if there's nothing else to see, we should return it to its earlier position.
Agreed.
The slab has been slid off and is now lying on the ground. To pick it up and put it back would take a great feat of strength. Will you undertake it?
With three of us, we could do it.
Does it seem possible the three of us could do it?
Try.
Okay, we will try.
Gaunter, what's your brawn bonus?
+2.
Your brawn bonus?
Or, I'm sorry, how do I calculate that?
It's in the box next to it.
5.
5. Krista?
5.
Yours? Okay, we'll have Sir Harrison lead this. Sir Harrison, make a standard toughness test, and what I want you to do is add an assist die. If he fails, you all suffer peril.
So this is going to be a 48% chance to succeed. That was a failure, but I will re-roll.
Okay. If you critically fail, something bad will happen. Something very bad. Injurious, even.
That's a 1?
Oh!
That's a double 01.
0101.
Wow, you rolled 0, 0, 0, 0, and 1?
Yeah.
Fantastic. Alright. It does not slip beneath your grip, so you all feel comfortable picking up the slab. It slides right back where it was, like it was never, ever removed. Your eyes turn toward the very first sepulchre with the eldest of languages written upon the placard.
Sir Harrison dusts his hands off, rolls up his sleeves, and says, "We'll always be curious if we don't look."
This is going to be the last one. I promise. I think we have to look at the original. I think we have to.
You turn toward the foremost of all the slabs. You come to it and you push the sepulture's lid aside until thud, and it kind of echoes in here. Inside, bones. Bones wrapped in rough spun. The skin is mostly desiccated. It is brittle. Just a gust of air causes it to turn to dust, to ash.
No riches?
None. Nothing.
This ain't right. As far as I know, this place has never been robbed.
The look at the door would tell us that.
Perhaps the bones replaced, the riches taken. But why?
I don't know. I don't know. I feel that I'm in far out of my depth here. This is not, these are fervent matters. I don't know anything about this.
You pick the slab back up and put it back on. Okay, Sir Harrison, make another test. This is a standard toughness test.
Right.
Same as before. If you fail, everyone suffers peril. If you critically fail, it could be injurious to you.
48% chance to succeed. So 23.
Okay. The slab goes back on. but not without some unease as it wobbles for a moment and you place it up on the lid. You have looked both in the foremost sepulture and the 9th, the most recent. Both the corpse in the first, the eldest, was all bones, wrapped in rough spun, no riches, no rings, no nothing. The last, the one that was buried recently, of an old woman, also wrapped in rough spun, smelling still, but dead, long dead. You could tell her age, for her hair was completely white. Even in death, the color of hair does not often change.
It's grim work, but we must continue.
It's what there is.
Do you continue turning over all of these?
Let's not put the lids on these anymore.
Alright. You disturb the dead.
Yeah.
As you will both gain through corruption.
Yeah.
And what you discover is, in essence, an experiment. And how old are some of these corpses? How fresh are some of these? And what you reveal is that they're at all varying stages of decay. But you would not need a smart man to deduce that the ones who are buried, most recently, the one that's buried most recently smells. The rest are in varying levels of decay until the foremost is simply bones.
But none have any riches.
None have riches. None were wrapped in any sort of spider silk. They're all wearing rough spun. All old women.
I don't understand.
Does your medical training tell you anything based on what you've seen?
I mean, they're dead bodies. But like Gaunter said, where are their fineries? What is this?
It has been upstairs. The two of you, including Ceol Marius, are at the foot of the door. And it's been a little bit of time. It's been about an hour at this point. But one by one, they remove the lids. You can hear it.
them.
After a while, you think you just turn it so that you can look in it and not put it on the ground and pick it back up.
Well, perhaps you should be down there telling them this.
You apparently look like you needed to be comforted, and Madam Krista said I should come and comfort you, and I trust her.
Well, thank you, Tuck.
As Tuck gives a side glance to Cole, and looking to him like, I'm brave, I really am.
At some point or another, the three of them return up the stairs.
I did not have white hair when I descended.
Gaunter and Sir Harrison and Madame Krista file up the stairs, joining you back at the threshold.
Well,
glad to see you, I am.
How do we shut this?
Gaunter is the first to join you.
Experiment was success.
I don't know what's going on, man. I don't know. Never seen nothing like it before. Don't really make much habit of hanging around corpses as it is. I'm gonna get me a glass of ale.
He turns immediately toward the table and pours his mug full, and he drinks it all in one swallow. And begins to fill it once more. He's pale as a sheet.
So you found something, nothing? What of your endeavors? Or is it worth it?
We found the remains of 9 women. Sir Harrison hesitates for a moment.
Be sure to speak up, guys.
And as you can already tell that Wesley's pretty upset right now, but he's trying to remain dignified.
They were wholly denuded of any fineries that one might expect for one of their station. Put it that way. No riches. No fine burial shrouds, spider silk. Simply rough spun wool covering these corpses. Dignity
So you think that they were intentionally buried that way? It wasn't like they were disturbed or robbed.
I think nothing other than what I've seen and what I've told you.
So you didn't see anything being disturbed then. So we were the ones that have disturbed their rest. Great.
I didn't say that. It's possible that something could have been disturbed. There's no way for us to tell.
Because it either is tradition that those women were to be laid to rest in simple matters, or they have been robbed. I do not know if they are of an age past. Perhaps traditions were different then. Perhaps they were buried simply, as they know that your treasures do not actually go with you through to the well.
They don't?
No. Everyone dies, and everyone goes to the well as they are, naked as you were born. Not with any rings on our fingers or any fancy clothes on our backs. Right. So we disturbed them for no reason.
Well, I mean, at least we found out that they's all filled.
Great. And so then the last one was not filled because no one knows what happens to her body, so it was just left empty. Great. So we have confirmed what we knew all along. I am so happy we found that out. I will be retiring to the room where I will continue to read, but you may do as you wish.
I'm gonna do my best to close that door and try and put the latch where it was.
There's no latch. There's just remnants of rust where you had beaten it off, and mineral oil all along the threshold. This door has clearly been open and disturbed. Anyone walking by it who was not even paying half a mind. Imagine walking through your house and seeing a door barely open that you know is always closed.
Okay.
The door is not even fastened shut like it did before.
Okay.
The door has literally been disturbed.
Yeah, and all the groups have been disturbed.
Yeah. Lord Wesley
could we
retires
spend any
upstairs.
time disguising this fact?
Sure.
I'm gonna do my best to try and make it look like it hasn't been disturbed, and trying to get some of that oil and make it look sticky and
Sure.
like get
Sure.
some of the
You don't have to describe what you're doing. I know what you're trying to do.
Right.
That makes sense. Make a disguise test. This test is based off of intelligence.
Okay.
If you have a skill rank in it, Sir Harrison, you may
No.
assist. It is a secret test.
So disguise based off of
All our tests are
intelligence.
secret
Yes.
tests.
Let's open counterfeit.
Or actually, my apologies. I guess counterfeit would probably be more appropriate. Yeah, let's make counterfeit test.
Appreciate it.
Yeah.
What was the
You just flip
difficulty?
the cushion over. They'll never know there was a stain there.
A counterfeit test? Oh, it's secret.
Oh, okay, all right.
What are you doing here?
I'm assisting.
Well, how are you assisting? What do you intend to do? Just hand him a dice? How are you assisting? How are you assisting Tuck in his
Well,
decision?
he's asking that he wants to cover this up.
Mm-hmm.
I'm very good at covering things up for...
It's true.
I've been covering up for Tuck since I've met Tuck.
That's a fair point. Okay, that's all you need to do. Remember, when you assist a person with a skill roll, you must describe how you intend to help.
All right.
So it's a secret test.
Secret test. If it was standard, it would be 51. And I'll take a 08.
Okay. You want to reroll that?
No.
Okay. All right. A little bit of time passes. The sun is long set. It is nighttime. Lord Wesley is up in his chambers reading by candlelight.
I'm going to go do the same because I have enough to read too.
Will all of you intend to rest for this evening?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Gaunter? Krista?
I'm ill at ease about it. I don't like what I know. I feel really uncomfortable, but I'll feel safe enough in the company of the others when on my own, if that's what they decide is best.
You retire back to this old guest chamber. It is appointed well enough for guests, but Then a little large wardrobe with moldering robes inside of it. A few antechambers where servants would sleep. A large hearth where one could burn fire, and of course, start of. Oh my gosh, what's wrong with me? You could start a fire. And then of course the window that overlooks this distant courtyard, somewhere deeper within the castle's boundaries. The night is dark. It's a little cloudy out. It begins to drizzle slightly at one point. No thunder, no lightning, just a light drizzle. None of you sleep well this evening inside Winterborne Estate as you all awaken to imperiled the next day.
Harold.
The morning comes as the light breaks across the nearby kind of running the long walls of the castle. The light comes from the east and begins to illuminate brightly inside this chamber, and you could see from here you could see the west wing, the west tower rather, tall like a spire, spindly, kind of twisting toward the sky. It is slightly off kilter. Part of it, a turret that kind of dresses the top of it, has toppled off of it long ago, and likely toppled somewhere in the courtyard or on the other side. You know, if you look to the east, it is completely like a dead drop on the other side of the castle. You can't see the dead drop, but you know it's there.
Well, besides going for a swim, maybe we should check out just sort of the other rooms that are here. Yeah.
We're going to pause for a moment and resume in 15. So, thank you, sir.